Got to keep a good range.
Well, I turn the Wi-Fi off in the mornings.
You do?
And I sit and I do my writing. And I just keep the Wi-Fi off. So I have no emails coming in. I don't answer the phone. That's a bit of a giveaway because people who ring me in the mornings think that I'm somewhere else, but actually no, I'm sitting there just ignoring the phone.
Of course, they're now going to know about it.
We'll ring her again.
So you're actually quite self-disciplined.
Well, I have to be really, because I'm with my 2 day jobs. I don't have a set routine. Half of my day job is in London, and the other half's in Hull.
So
I spend a lot of time on trains, and sometimes I might have to get up at 4:30 in the morning, and I'm not going to sit and write at that time. I only get up at that time, so I've got to get ready to go for a train. You know?
I think if I wrote at that time, it would be gobbledygook.
Yes.
You've got to have time for your brain to wake up as well as your body, haven't you?
To be perfectly honest, the computer has made it easier to put it down and to organise the words, but the biggest thing has been digital cameras. You see, she looks at me and say, "What? You're a writer?" But no matter what you do, you're writing crime, I'm writing supernatural thrillers, or even any of the historical things, or even the stuff that the horror ones. You always do a certain amount of research. Sometimes it's not a lot. If it's for a short story, if it was a horror, I just needed to watch the TV. For the majority, especially the novels, all sorts of things come into it where you have to do a lot of research. Despite the fact that Talk of Moonlight is set in this area between here and the North Yorkshire Moors, and the trilogy is going to be set sort of, this one's here in Hull, the next one's going to be set in York, then it'll move further up, so it like rings the North York Moors. You go out doing, I walk the landscape that I'm going to write about. And
you physically walk?
I physically, I mean, you can take Talk of Moonlight as a plan. You can literally walk Hull and round the university with that book in your hand.
Yes, describing the ivy, not on the concrete walls.
And it's the nuance that you put with it, where your readers will think, I've walked past that. I never realised it looked like that before. And they'll go back and say, they never thought of it being creepy before. But it's the fact that you go out with a digital camera, and I've never quite got the hang of using it with a phone. And if you're doing research, then it's the light, the colours, and notice boards are fantastic. You know, where you go into museum things, because I take photographs of that, and then I'm photographing all the placards that's underneath it, so you don't have to stand there and make notes. Beforehand, I used to take with tips, and then I used to talk. I used to read it all into there. Well, I don't know.
You just take the pictures.
I just take the picture when I was doing about talks, the gold neck talks from Celtic times, and all the Roman stuff, which is only going to come into the book marginally. But I need to know it for the research to be able to write about these nuances with authority. And this is what all this research is required for, so that you can write about it with authority. Your readers have got to believe all this.
So what you're doing is like the police do on a murder case, when they're putting it all up on notice boards and trying to connect things together, and this suspect goes with this.
Yes.
That's what you're doing.
Timelines and
You do that as well, Penny?
Yes, I do. Different things for different books, but yes, I do. I mean, I have actually used the board and the sellotape, and in fact, there is a board.
I noticed rather a large board.
Yes, we've got another one. But yes, you do that. I mean, I've had. I don't do it for all the books, but some plot lines, and you have different plot lines going for different things, and they've all got to mesh together, and I sometimes literally have had them all on cards, just the odd word.
Right.
And I've had all the separate plot lines down, and then look to see how they all weave together. And this is where you do have them. Then you look at your phone and you think, so from this angle on Orchard Park, when you're looking up to that, what can you actually see, and what's that?
So it's a lot more than just sitting yourself down in front at a keyboard and just writing.
People think that writers literally do sit there and you imagine it all. And no, because it wouldn't come off as what we're attempting to do, what we do is create. It's not attempting. What we do is create worlds that readers can live. So, and it's not just live vicariously. It is literally get in there, so their heart pumps with whichever character they're following.
I must admit, for me, reading is a form of escapism.
Yes.
The rest of the world doesn't exist when I'm inside a book.
That's exactly what.
Go on to your talk of Moonlight, because I've just started that. I'm only on the first chapter. It's part of a trilogy.
Yes, part of a trilogy.
Have you written the other two?
Not yet. The second one, The Bull at the Gate, which will be the one that's set in York, is part written. And then I don't quite know where the next one's. I seem to.
Now, I was interested to see that talk in a paperback, because I've got it on my Kindle.
Ah, good woman.
Now,
this is the last of my books that are in paper. Because I've moved totally to digital. That isn't to say that the next one of this will come out as paper, but it will come out as digital first, whereas the paper came out and then the digital came out, because that's taking priority. And people do know. I sell a lot to America, and of course they're very into their Kindles and their Nooks across there.
So you've got nothing against the e-book revolution.
Absolutely wonderful as far as I'm concerned. it's meant that I've been able to I've got all the rights reverted to my old novels, so they've all come out again, and they're selling very well in America, which is where they weren't sold to America in paper. So they're selling okay now. I'm quite happy, thank you. It's not a bestseller, but it's,
it gets you a wider audience.
Absolutely.
There's no doubt about it. And how do you feel about the e-books, Penny?
I think it's great. It's obviously the way forward. I don't see it killing off the book anytime soon.
No.
But it clearly is the way forward. There's no doubt about it. It's changed the way that people read. It means you can take hundreds of books on holiday with you. I think it's probably making people read who weren't reading before.
I hope so, yeah.
All sorts of other things. I mean, people read newspapers and things on Kindles and e-readers now.
Yes, of
Which
course.
I find odd, but there we go.
Yeah.
Oddly enough, you still like a physical newspaper.
Well, it's something less to carry. You don't have to carry the books. You don't
It's
have to carry
true.
the newspapers.
And I suppose in a way it's like the computer versus the typewriter in all this thrown away paper from mistakes.
You wouldn't say that if you could see my office.
Right, okay.
Yeah, it's one of the biggest myths, the paperless office.
Right, you're still printing everything off and scribbling.
Well, I think that there are very few places that really, some places have actually genuinely gone digital. And a lot of places are now actually trying to be environmentally friendly and things.
Yes.
But the actual advent of the computer did not kill off paper in the way that some people thought it would. It just generated more.
Well, from my point of view, I mean, the Kindle is absolutely amazing and I love it, but there are limitations. For a start, I can't get my copies signed by the authors.
Just digitized, you can lose a lot.
Yeah.
We're still at relatively early days. I know we're talking decades in. But we're still in very turbulent times. Like the early days of motoring or something. The cars are not yet reliable.
True. True. So, and obviously, I don't think a children's storybook with lots of pictures would come over very well.
Well, I might not on that. Well, you say that. It won't on. I mean, this is not this year's Christmas present. This is last year's.
Mine was last year's too.
I thought I'm writing for it. I better get myself and see what it looks like on it, because I used to put I started off by putting it on my laptop. Was it Kindle for PC, and I also got the Adobe, so I could get the EPUB format as well to look at the differences. And of course on there it's on colour. But now that the iPad is out, which of course is a colour tablet, or even all the colour tablets. You just pull down the apps, don't you?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right.
And a Kindle in America have brought out the Kindle Fire, which is in colour, which is again it's almost a tablet. So you are, and because I chat away to a lot of Americans, you know, across the ether, the writers who write for children are now embracing this in picture book style, because you can have a wider screen this way around, and you can actually do it with the pictures in colour. And I was following this woman around this exhibition, thinking, by God, she's got a good child in that pushchair. You know, thinking, it's not kicking up, it's not, you know, no. And when I actually got closer, strapped across the pushchair is an iPad. And this child in a pushchair. Now, and I thought, we see, me being me, didn't think, oh, that's terrible. Me thought, ooh, that's my future reader.